Our mind is a tremendous resource, and it helps us to be at our best. So when people are going to a job interview, they know that their ability to have the best of their mind on tap matters. And as a result, when people are doing something important like a job interview, public speaking, maybe going on a date, they don't want to be nervous, because that's the time where things that you know, you don't remember. Things that you should say, you don't realize until afterwards. And you can become kind of a worse version of yourself. And it's on a scale. When we're at our best, things flow very well for us and we can be incredibly capable. And when we're at our worst, we can literally be stammering idiots. And nobody's immune from that. So this is something that I wanted to talk a little bit about because, again, there's a huge state of mind variable in it. And there's huge misunderstandings that exist in the world that make being at your best and getting the most out of your mind much, much harder, if not impossible. The major misconception about getting most out of your mind and being at your best is that you have to think to do it. It's logical, it's understandable. I was educated and raised that way. I completely believed that to get the most out of your mind, you had to think. And I mean actively think, process, analyze, concentrate. I wouldn't have said this at the time, but that leads into ruminating, dwelling, worrying, any kind of active thought. And the concept behind it is your mind is like a computer. If you don't use it, it's just a box. And if you do use it, it can do many wonderful things as long as you use the right programs, apps, etc., etc., etc. The mind doesn't work like that. It's a biological computer. It's a biological entity. It's an energetic entity. And we don't really fully understand it, but you can observe that mentally people are at their best when they're not thinking. And I don't mean when they have no thought. I mean when they're not processing and analyzing, right? So in sports, public speaking, martial arts, emergency response, people are taught to calm down before they do anything, not to think about it as much as possible. But this isn't recognized in business. So when we have things we want to do, problems we want to solve, situations we're dealing with, we act as if the more we think about it, the more value we get from the potential of our mind. And I'm asking you to step back and take a look and see if that's true. Because given what I know about the mind, given my experience and that of all my clients, that's a misunderstanding. That when left alone, that when clear, in neutral, our minds are at their best, and the best thinking that we have pops out of the blue. It's not the end of an analytical process. And this is true in everything, including scientific discovery. The biggest scientific discoveries are aha moments. Sitting under an apple tree, in the bath, it's like, and for the rest of us, it's taking a walk, taking a break, walking to get a drink, on a run. We do our best thinking because our mind is an expansive intelligence we don't fully understand, but we do get to use and get the benefit of. And it's at its least restricted when we're not focusing it in and using up all the bandwidth with our own analysis. It's actually at its best when it's live streaming. It's almost like your mind is like a computer that live streams an expansive potential, like the internet, unless someone's tapping on the keyboards. And if someone's tapping on the keyboards, the Wi-Fi shuts down and it's processing. And all you have is what's on the C drive. And the more windows you have open, the more crunky and stunted and destabilized the operating system. So the idea of this short talk is to point you in the direction of considering that getting the most out of your mind is as fundamentally simple as realizing it's an automatic default and that your thinking gets in the way. And really the benefit of this short talk is you considering that all the thinking you're doing, that you do in the name of doing your best, might actually be getting in your way.